What's going on, guys? It's Chris here, and I'm back doing another Dungeons & Dragons build for a character from a different show, different manga, TV show, anime, whatever. So far I've only done manga, and I'm continuing that trend. I'll be doing a build for Iwao Muneuchi from Baki the Grappler. Now, if you want to know more about the character, you can check out this strong pinch-hitting Judoka in the 5th chapter, I do believe, of the Doppo series in Baki, where Doppo gets his own spin-off, where we get to see a bit of the stuff of his past, the people he fought, and his last opponent in the chapter 5 was Iwao Muneuchi, who is a pinch hitter, or a fighter you would bet on, a prize fighter almost, and he was a judoka, and he was one of the strongest around. He had had over 70 matches and less than 10 losses. So the guy is crazy strong, the guy is crazy fast, he's able to give Doppo a good fight, and we're going to learn how to build him in Dungeons & Dragons with just a little bit of Christian homebrew spice in it. So what the hell, let's just jump right in.
Why do I feel like I linger between the words to say the words to remember.
Alright, and to start off, we're going to be going over Iwao's health. First, of course, getting this out of the way so that everyone knows exactly what they're putting all this effort towards, the name of the class will be Judoka. So for health values, I'm thinking that the hit die should be a D12. Now you may be thinking, well, Chris, that's a little high. And that's precisely the point. In Baki, there are some people that are immensely powerful. Olive Biscuit, Yujiro Hanma, Nomi no Sukune II, Kakukayo. All of them are extremely powerful. And while I don't necessarily think that Doppo in the prime of his life is exactly on the same page as those powerhouses, he did do decently against Yujiro Hanma. So, to say that somebody who did almost equally as well against Doppo as Doppo did against Yujiro, well, we can't have them having some squishy hit die like an 8, so I've decided to go with a D12, save the higher hit die like D20 for those real powerhouses, like those Yujiros, those Yoichiros, those, the Hanmas, the people that shouldn't exist, like Nomi, who can apply 100 tons of force in his grip, or a clone of Miyamoto Musashi with his soul in it, those guys. And rolling right on to the proficiencies, he'll actually be proficient in no armor, no weapons, and no tools. They do not use armor or weapons in Judo. At least I don't think they do, and I know for sure that Iwao has never seen using armor or tools, just his gi and his fists. Saving throws for Iwao, the Judoka class at least, will be Constitution and Wisdom. He's a guy who can take the nastiest of attacks and keep going, and he doesn't let a little thing like fear or pain get in his way. The skills to choose from for the Judoka class will be Acrobatics, Athletics, Intimidation, Perception, and Sleight of Hand. These, of course, are to reflect his athleticism, the fact that Judo involves a lot of picking up and slamming your opponent. Acrobatics for the aspect of it being a lot of balanced-based movements and techniques. Intimidation, because of course he is very intimidating. He does have a very intimidating look and aura about him. Perception, because he seems to be a uniquely perceptive fighter, able to take advantage of and bait people into taking certain, actions in certain situations that would be beneficial to him. So he's good at noticing small details. And finally, of course, Sleight of Hands for his extremely fast hand movement, to be able to take advantage of certain situations that present themselves on the fly. Now, he can take 2 of these skills, and if you want my personal recommendation, what I think would be most on-brand for Iwao, or the Judoka class, I suppose, would probably be Acrobatics and Athletics. So, we don't have a whole lot of moves he learns as class features through level up, but he does have a few, and I would recommend taking things from the Monk class and putting it in, like Unarmored Movement, Unarmored Defense, maybe some of the abilities from, the Key Pool. There's a bunch of things in the Monk Pool, because that's basically D&D's, unarmed combat class. There are a lot of things from the Monk Pool that would be very beneficial to a judoka, or a fighter-based class such as this, a martial artist. So I would pick a few things from that pool and mix it into the homebrew that I'm about to build for you guys. But as far as his strictly homebrew class features, we have at first level, fighter. At fourth level, a special rendition of the martial arts class feature from the monk class. At 8th level, the shoulder throw. At 9th level, a joint kick. At 12th level, pinch hitter. At 16th level, scarred. At 17th level, illegal. And at 20th level, judo. So starting off with what benefits the judoka class will be gaining from the fighter class feature. As the greatest fighter to bet on, you've taken your fair share of hits, but you're the best for a reason. At first level, you gain this class feature, which allows you to roll with advantage for all Constitution and Wisdom saving throws. Very useful due to the fact that he already has proficiency with Constitution and Wisdom saving throws. Martial Arts. At 4th level, your practice of martial arts gives you mastery of judo. You gain the following benefits while you are unarmed and you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. You can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of your unarmed strikes or throws. It's more common for a judoka to be hitting with throws and slams rather than using atemi, or atemi waza, hand techniques, hand striking techniques. So it's something I like to implement in the character is the fact that, in theory, you could grapple a person, pick them up, and throw them into the ground, and, whatever your DM wants to do with that, he can do with that, but know that that's probably going to be your main way of attacking as a judoka. You can roll a d4 in place of the normal damage die of your unarmed strikes. This die changes as you gain judoka levels, as shown in the martial arts column of the monk table. So of course the monk table is pretty much exactly how I would have mapped it out, or to some degree, that level of you'll be ending up with like a d10 at most, which you won't be lower than a d4, and there's a steady progression as you can see. So just use the martial arts column in the monk table as far as, the increase in damage your unarmed strikes will be doing as you gain levels of judoka. And finally, when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike on your turn, you can make one throw attack as a bonus action. For example, if you take the attack action and strike the person, you can also make a throw as a bonus action, assuming you haven't already taken a bonus action that turn. That in particular, I was inspired to basically use that to reflect Iwao and this judoka class, in that, if you remember from the fight, I'll probably be showing it up on screen right now, but when Doppo and Iwao were fighting, Iwao actually used a joint kick, which we'll be gaining later on through level up, to bait Doppo into kind of leaning forward. It doesn't really work as expected, but he still goes for the shoulder throw. So he took an attack action, and even though he missed, as a bonus action, he went for a shoulder throw, to put it in Dungeons & Dragons terms. So I thought that was the perfect opportunity to kind of take a moment in the actual fight and kind of convert it into Dungeons & Dragons. Next, we'll be talking about one of his judo attacks, the shoulder throw. A specific and powerful judo throw technique, the shoulder throw is the most popular technique in judo. There are two types, the two-handed shoulder throw and the one-arm shoulder throw. The two-handed throw involves turning and lifting your opponent on your back while keeping both hands on their judogi, or in this instance it would be just their clothes or their armor, or even, their neck or their bones or whatever, and throwing them over your shoulder. In the one-arm technique, you throw the opponent over your shoulder with your hands on one of your opponent's arms. A two-handed throw is an athletics strength-based check, similarly to a grapple, and it deals 4d8 bludgeoning damage. A one-handed throw is an acrobatics dexterity-based check and d4 bludgeoning damage. The target of the throw is made prone regardless of the throw used. So basically, if you're able to succeed on your check, you can either throw them with both hands and do more damage, or throw them with one hand and keep one hand free, and your opponent is prone to now regardless. Next up, we can get to that joint kick I mentioned before. A powerful unarmed strike, this technique is a stomping kick aimed at the front of an opponent's knee. This kick can be quite devastating, dealing 4d4 bludgeoning damage, and if the target fails a Constitution saving throw of 8 plus your Strength modifier, plus your Wisdom modifier, plus your Judoka level, their knee will be broken. So they'll have to roll pretty damn high. A broken knee will give the target disadvantage on all dexterity checks and saving throws, half their movement speed, and prevent the target from using the dash action. I mean, fuck. Try running with a broken knee. I couldn't even run with a fractured knee. I couldn't even run with a fractured toe. Next up, we got Pinch Hitter here. In a fight with stakes, you're always the safe bet and never the dark horse. Due to your experience in dozens of matches, yet not even having lost a dozen times, you are deemed a fighter of great skill. You can add your Wisdom modifier to attack rolls for all unarmed strikes and Athletics strength checks for throws. So you kind of see what we're going for here. Lots of Constitution, lots of Wisdom, lots of Athletics, stuff like that. That's all the stuff you'd expect to see in a quintessential Judoka. Next up, we're going to Scarred. After taking countless career-ending injuries to normal athletes and pushing past them, you've achieved an unrivaled pain tolerance. Now you have proficiency in Constitution saving throws. Look at that. And just to clarify, in case, that doesn't really come out as I intended, the proficiency stacks. So of course, if you have double proficiency at this point, you gain expertise, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure if your proficiency will be triple stacked. I'm not sure if your DM will allow that, but it's always good to clarify beforehand, just to make sure that all your ducks are in order. Or is it all your ducks in a row? All your cards in order? Something like that. You guys know the definition, or the phrase that everyone uses. Next up is Illegal. While strikes are not normally allowed in Judo, you have practiced fighting with no rules, and you fight how you practiced. You can now add your proficiency to attack rolls to hit the target. So a lot of being proficient, a lot of advantage, a lot of ways to boost your core values that I really want to be working on with this build. Iwao was able to, keep up with Dopo with strikes and stuff. He was able to do a pretty decent job. He was able to get hit by some of Dopo's nastiest stuff, as I'm sure you've seen in the video thus far, and he was able to just keep trucking along. So that's the kind of character we're trying to build here. And finally, his last class feature gained by level up, Judo. Very fitting for the character. While you aren't known worldwide as the greatest fighter in the world, those that know you stand among the greatest. As the one who stands at the precipice of being the greatest judoka to live, you are an amazing grappler. All grapple checks or checks made in an attempt to throw a target are made with advantage. You are also proficient in both of these actions. If you are already proficient in one or both, double the proficiency. A lot of additional points to each of the activities that you'd really want to be focusing on, which is strikes and throws. It gives you a lot of reason, and it makes it very easy for you to throw. How many people are going to be able to overcome somebody who makes an athletics checks with 30 proficiency stacks or whatever the hell? You have 30 different stacks of proficiency as you roll. It's +3 on +3 on +3 on +3. You'll have so many stacks of proficiency by the time you're level 20 with this character. It'll be nigh impossible for somebody to actually avoid getting grabbed by you and then subsequently thrown by you. And this can be done multiple ways. It can yield some rewarding damage. It can set up your opponent to be prone, so that now your teammates can come in and basically they can roll with advantage on attacks against him because he's prone, and get a critical hit. They get to double their damage die if they hit him. Now that is to say, that's the best case scenario if you have melee members on your team. If you have people who are offensive via ranged, then putting your opponent in a prone condition is probably going to be kind of bad for team composition, but that's something for you guys to worry about. I'm just pushing out these characters, and I hope you like them. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you plan to use this homebrew in your Dungeons & Dragons game, and I hope your DM doesn't roast you too badly for being a weeb or using homebrew or whatever your dungeon master is inevitably going to roast you for. I hope you guys liked the video and like this type of content. I plan to make a lot more of it. I find that the videos are pretty easy to make and they're always fun to make. I plan to do a few more Baki characters before I move on to something like, say, Kengan Ashura or Kenichi. I know there are probably a whole lot of weebs out there that play Dungeons and Dragons and would probably find it cool to play as some of these characters, especially Records of Ragnarok or whatever the case. So yeah, I'm pushing these out, and I really hope you guys are enjoying them. Go ahead and smash that like button to show me that you're supporting these videos and that you guys want them, and you want these characters to be built, in a homebrew manner, or, I could even try to build some characters without doing homebrew. I can do whatever you guys want me to do, so make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys want. I'll listen, I'll try to fulfill my end of the bargain to the best of my ability, and my end of the bargain is giving the people what they want, and talking about what I want to talk about. So subscribe if you want to stick around on the channel and be a part of the family. We'd love to have you, and hit that notification bell if you want to keep up to date with the videos I'm releasing. I'm going to be heading back to school here shortly on the 19th of January, so when I go back to college, I won't really be able to upload as frequently as I have been, for whatever that's worth, because I've been inconsistent as shit with my uploading schedule. But I've been making the attempt, and the attempt to be uploading 3 videos a week will not even be there when I head back to school. It'll be back to Tuesday, Thursday videos, or my best attempt at Tuesday, Thursday videos. So, if you guys enjoy the content, like I said, stick around with me, do all the supportive stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Thank you.